Hello everyone, I am Dr. Bhavna Joshi and I will be taking the subject creating an inclusive school. In this subject today we will be discussing about the pedagogical strategies to respond to individual need of students. This topic is in your unit 4 of creating an inclusive school PED 218. So let's start with the pedagogical strategies. The first strategy is the cooperative learning. Cooperative learning is a technique where learners actively participate in group. Teachers become learners at times, and learners sometimes teach to the students. They respect is given to every member in the team. Projects and questions interest and challenge the students. Diversity is celebrated, and every individual in the group has to contribute their part of valued content. Students learn skill for resolving conflicts when they arise. In the cooperative learning, members draw upon their past experiences and knowledge and try to understand the concept. The goals are clearly identified and used as a guide. Research tools such as internet access is made available to the students for solving the problem, and students are invested in their own learning process. So this is about the cooperative learning. The next pedagogical strategy is peer learning. Peer learning is where refers to the student learning with and from each other as fellow learners without any implied authority. They learn from each other and there is no authority as such. Students learn a great deal by explaining their ideas to others and by participating in activities which they can learn from their peers. So in this process, in peer learning, one student, one fellow member explains the concept to the other one. So in this the process of peer learning includes the first is identifying the topic which is chosen by the teacher, so that students can be divided into group and they can be given a topic which they can explain to each other. Then instructional material is prepared. In this instructional material, so in this, the instructional material is prepared by the teacher. Whatever exercise, feedback exercises or practice exercises are to be given to the students. That is prepared by the teacher only, not by the students. Then assign instructional material. The material is assigned to every individual in the group, and then the children are paired into various groups for peer learning. Now these pairs are made, these groups are made, is made by the teacher. It depends on the teacher that how the teacher wants to make pairs, like they want to shuffle the students. They don't want to have a high achiever group as separate one, and the low achiever group as the separate one. The recommended pairing is where the high achiever and low achiever, both type of students are mixed in the group. Then the next step will be to train children to be effective tutors. This is very important. The training is given by the teacher to the students, like they are told about the objective of this peer learning. What is basically the objective of this peer learning process? What the teacher want out of it? That is explained to the peers, the tutors. Then the outcome which they want as a teacher, that is explained to them. Then the tutors are also explained that they need to be empathetic towards others, and they have to speak very positive words, and should give very positive remarks. So this kind of training is given to the teachers to be effective tutors. So this is the process of peer learning. Now, the advantage is first, it provides an opportunity for self evaluation to the children. Children are able to evaluate their what they learn, how they have learned, what till what level they have learned. They are able to evaluate their progress. Then encourage self learning. This method makes the students independent. They develop independent study habits. They are able to learn on their own. It develops a sense of responsibility and accountability on the part of the student. They are responsible for teaching also and for learning also, and they are accountable that whatever they are the responsibility is given to them, they should accomplish it. Then developing mutual respect in the group, that is very important. Socialization and understanding each other's point of view is very important. So this teamwork is somewhere is the biggest advantage of this peer learning. And competitiveness is replaced by cooperation. Every individual learns to cooperate with each other, and that competitive feeling that I will come first from this child is replaced by cooperation. They have an empathetic attitude towards others also, that they are not able to understand, so as a tutor I should make them understand this concept. So the competitiveness is replaced by the cooperation. So this is the advantage of peer learning. Now, the next pedagogical strategy is the reflective teaching. What is reflective teaching? Reflective teaching is something where the educator gets an opportunity to look within themselves, to their own personal teaching philosophy, how they teach, how they are teaching in the class, what are their what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are the challenges they are facing in the class. That is when you introspect your teaching, when you introspect your teaching philosophy, that how as a teacher you teach and where you need to improve. That is what is called as a reflective teaching. Now, reflective teaching, few reflective strategy are first is ask yourself daily, how did it go? How after the class, ask yourself, how did I do in the class? What went wrong? What went right? But try to be very honest with yourself. Keep a teaching journal or a diary in which you can write your experience, and you can conclude where you went right and where you went wrong, and what you need to improve. Then collaborative journal writing is very important. That means a group of teacher can keep and share diary entries of a specific period. Then create and utilize self-assessment forms. Video tape your work in the classroom and then see it, and then you will come to know that where you were good and where you went wrong. Written reports on projects and experience in the class is very good reflective technique. Then invite colleagues to observe your classroom so that they can give you suggestions. Work with a mentor. It is always better to work with a mentor from whom you can learn something new. Read and utilize students assessment, whatever assessment, whatever feedback the student has given. So read them and try to take them very positively in your class. Write a autobiography on how and why you become a teacher. This will be give you a good reflection whenever you feel that things are not going right in this profession and you want to quit. So it will be helpful for you to remember that why you became a teacher. And it will be a good reflective strategy if you share that with your peers, and you can learn something from them and they can learn something from your views. So these were the reflective strategies. The next pedagogical strategy is buddy system. Buddy system is when peers are paired with student with disabilities in the classroom and serve as buddies who are there to provide support with schoolwork, offers advice, or just be friend. Now, this buddy system is pairing, every a child with special need is paired with one buddy, or where buddy is a friend. So they are paired with one buddy, with a student whom they called as their buddy. That buddy or that friend will support them with the schoolwork and offers them advice whenever needed, be like a friend for them. So, this buddy system is different from peer learning or cooperative learning where there were groups. Here, it is only one on one. That means one child with special need have one buddy. So, this buddy system ensures that children with disability are rendered a helping hand by some students. So, this is buddy system. Why we use buddy system? So that to make children responsible and helpful. That means the children who are not having any special needs, they are, made responsible and helpful by helping these children to sensitize the children in the school about how they can be a buddy or a mentor to the children with special need, sensitize them, empathize them, have them empathy, encourage them to have empathy, empathetic attitude, encourages positive social interaction and social relationships to develop between students with and without disabilities. It encourages a social interaction, positive social interaction, and it bridges a gap, the emotional gap between children with special need and children without special need. It build a friendship between them and encourage social learning for both children with or without special need. Next pedagogical strategy is the multisensory approach. Multisensory approach is a multisensory approach in teaching is simultaneous use of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic tactical to enhance memory learning. As you can see on your screen, VAK model, that is visual. Some an approach, a teaching where you are, as a teacher, you are including the visual effect, something, you are showing a picture, you are showing an audio video, the auditory, that means the students are able to hear it also, whatever you are explaining, or the video content which is going on. And the third is the kinesthetic, that means they are doing it also, they are seeing it, they are hearing it, and they are doing it also. So the combination of these three will make your classroom as multi-sensory approach. As it is said that we remember 20% of what we read, 30% of what we hear, 40% of what we see, and 50% of what we say, 60% of what we do, whereas 90% of what we see, hear, say, and do. So when you include all the senses, the output will automatically will be increased, as you can see here in this on the screen also. So these are the multisensory approaches which as a teacher you can use in your classroom to simulate your the visual reasoning and learning of the students. You can use pictures, posters, models, projection screens, flashcards, colorful, highlighting the content, the important thing with highlighters, graphic organizers, student created art, image, text, pictures, videos, etc. Auditory techniques, you can use, books on tape, peer assisted reading. There could be films, there could be music, song, instruments, something like this. Then tactile teaching method is where, tactiles are where you are using touching, you are using the touch teaching method, like the sand clay in the, the children who start writing the alphabets, they are given the sand tray and they make the letters on these sand clay trays. So these teaching method, tactile teaching method, can be sand trays, raised line papers, textured objects, finger paints, puzzles, model material such as, clay, sculpturing material, giving them clay so that they can make things using small material called manipulative to represent numbers in the maths. uh, coloring the different place values. So these are few multisensory approaches which as a teacher you can use. The next one pedagogical strategy is the social learning. Social learning means helping each other and building network. So, social learning, few social learning strategy which you as a teacher you can use in the classroom is active learning. Active learning is somewhere something where the students take active part, like in discussions, like in concept mapping, like in debate, role play, case studies, field trips, experiential trips, these kind of things where the students take active part, that is active learning strategy. Another one is group activities, like as a teacher you can have some you can divide the students into group and you can give them problems to solve. They can analyze it, like something like jigsaw puzzles or problem or presentation based projects. Then interactive lectures, like students can discuss in groups, something related to society. They can have discussions, they can have polls, they can have debate lectures content, something like this. Then peer review, students can review each other's written assignment work, and they can give some verbal constructive feedback, because when they are giving the feedback, somewhere they are thinking and contemplating their work also and the students work also, that what is best and what could have been done to make it best. So this can be done in the peer review. Then peer tutoring, as we discussed earlier in this lecture. Buddy system is also a social learning strategy. Cooperative learning, project method, all these things, all these strategies are social learning strategies. Now, why you should adopt social learning in your classroom? First of all, social learning encourage interaction with others. Students will interact with each other, so it will help them to socialize with each other. Student will be preparing the skill they need to be successful in their workforce. Whenever they will go for work, their jobs in future after the school, they should have the tactics to interact with people. They should know how to interact with people. That is more very important. So social learning helps them to do that. Increase engagement across disengaged learners. So though there are few learners who don't want to participate in the classroom activity, whereas in social learning, each and every learner, whether that the learner is interested or not, they will participate in it. Student develop self-organization skills. It encourage collaboration with each other. They develop skill that can be used in workforce, as we discussed. Super change charges traditional learning and facilitate collaborative innovation. Somewhere these kind of social learning techniques are innovative techniques, which include collaboration, which include the uh, students to work in group. This is something which is very important for their future life also. So these were the pedagogical strategies. I hope you understood all of them. Thank you very much.